What's up, y'all, and welcome back to Trains and Tech. Today, we'll be looking at a $20 Lionel set, what you should expect, quality, etc. Now, you may be thinking, how did you find a $20 Lionel set? Well, Facebook Marketplace. You guys know I love it. It's the best. Facebook Marketplace is where you can get trains for the cheap. So here's everything I got. I know it's a little difficult to see right now, but don't worry, we'll get into it. Included in that box is not only a train and all of the freight associated with it, but also a transformer and track. So you may be wondering, what kind of train can you expect for $20? Well, it's none other than a 242 Scout. Shocker. We've looked at a few of these on the channel so far. Lionel pumped so many of these out. Specifically, the 1110, to my knowledge, is the first cataloged Scout. The 1101 was the first uncatalogued Scout, and then the first unofficial Scout without actually having the 1001 tender that says Lionel Scout. The first one was 1654, and that was released in 1946. The 1101 was in 48, and then the 1110 ran from 49 to 52. If I got any of that wrong, please feel free to correct me in the comments, but that's what I saw from a quick Google search. A part that I like about this set is they all have this older style coupler that has this like little nipple that sits down. I have the matching freight consist, which is awesome. And this tin Lionel Scout is very nostalgic. I really like it. I really like these post-war items, as you guys have seen on my channel. So here's our 242. You can clearly tell it's a little dirty. And something that's really interesting about this is actually a rather rare Scout, and I'll tell you why. So for those of you that are familiar with Lionel, you may recognize this as an air hole. This shell is actually the shell from 6110. In 1951 only, for a brief period of time, they used and renumbered some of 6110's shells specifically for the 1110 Scouts, and they did not plug the air hole. So this is one of the very, very one-off. These are hard to find. Now, that doesn't mean they're really worth much because Scouts just don't have a lot of inherent value, but they are pretty tough to find. It's really cool to see 6110's shell repurposed just for this, and it honestly looks really funky. Now, the Scout line was meant to be a nice, cheap, affordable train moving past World War II. That being said, they do not have a lot of pulling power, so there's not a lot of rolling stock that came with them. For this train in particular, we have our Baby Ruth candy boxcar. We have our 1002 gondola. And finally, we have our 1007 Lionel Lines caboose. We've got a little bit of funkies that have started to develop on the coupler. Luckily, though, I can just scratch this off with my finger, which makes me think maybe it's not zinc pest. I don't know. Included in this set is this very cute 35-watt transformer. I haven't actually seen one like this. I like this little control right here, and we've got off and fast. 3 speeds, here, there, and gone.
This thing's got 3 speeds. Here, there, and gone. It's got the power of infinity and beyond.
Something I thought was pretty cool is this actually came with the original instructions for our Lionel Scout trains. Shows us how to connect our transformer to the track and how to assemble our layout. Shows us how to operate the train, how to uncouple cars, how to take care of our train, and a little bit of service information too. One thing I'm noticing is that there appears to be a 2-position E unit, and if you notice on my train, is not there. So you guys believe me, but just to show you, there's all of the tube track that also came with this. Now, I'd just like to reiterate, this was all $20. Most modern day Lionel sets can be around $400 to $500. That's a lot of money. Using Facebook Marketplace, sure, you don't get the guarantee that it may run, it may need some servicing, but in the end, you save hundreds of dollars. There is no shame in buying secondhand products. I'd say about 95% of stuff that I cover on this channel, I buy secondhand. I do not buy new stuff. Very, very rarely do I. Buying brand new stuff it's just so expensive, so expensive. Take for example, the new King Cole set from Lionel is $3,500. That's crazy, that's crazy. You can buy a car for that money, a real car. You could probably even buy a train. I'm sure we'd be getting close. Anyways, I digress. Let's throw this on the track and we'll see if it runs. If it doesn't, we'll take it apart and we'll service it. In case she's a runner right off rip, we're just gonna put a little bit of grease in here. I'm even feeling extra generous. We're gonna even put a little bit of oil in here. If you guys haven't seen it already, here's a link to my video where I put together this train layout. Comment down below. Do y'all think it's gonna run right off rip? Let's see. Okay, sounds like it dried out immediately, but it did run. that noise was the sound of nice dry gears just going. Try that again. We threw a little bit more lube on there. I don't like that noise, so we're gonna take this apart, and I think a basic service will fix most of the issues we have right now. Well, if we've learned anything from the 1,000 242s we've took apart on this channel, let's start right here. Okay, slide these out. All right, I've located the culprit. We've got to get this little flathead screw out of here. Nice. Well, so much for little. Dude, look at the size of that thing. It's like 6 inches. All right, now this should pop out. And with a little bit of magic, we can bend that out. All right, set our shell over here. Here's our motor. First things first, dude, what happened? Why is this so bent? Y'all see that? Look at this. Honestly, I'll take that. That looks a lot better. All right, there's our first part fixed. Now let's peek at this motor. Oh yeah, look at that. This looks like it could benefit from a little cleaning. So let's get our pencil in here and do a little bit of work. All right, I'm just checking to see if our brush springs are still good and they feel perfectly fine. All right, let's put our brush plate back on. Now what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna get a Q-tip and we're gonna clean off all this gunk that's everywhere. Also, look at that. That's where my E-unit is. Yeah, it was definitely not sticking up here. We've got our 2-position switch right there. Cool beans. That's clean enough for me. Now let's go ahead and get some oil in right here. Nope, that may have been too much. Again, we'll put a dollop here and a dollop there. Get some oil on this side. Something interesting I've noticed, these rollers look really fresh, which is awesome to see. All right, one thing I really wanted to do is clean up this guy. Look at how gunked up this is. It's not perfect, but definitely a lot better. Let's go clean these guys up as well. And now these are nice and clean. Finally, I'm gonna go clean up the shell a little bit. After a little elbow grease, our shell isn't perfect, but it sure is a lot better. Let's go ahead and put everything back together. Dang, I just realized I forgot to put this on. All right, I'm gonna cut to this fully assembled. That took way longer than it needed to, but I fixed my gaff and got our rear truck in there. Let's throw it on the track. All right, moment of truth. Wow, this is running amazing. Heck yeah. Let's get the rolling stock on it. The whole set is on the rails. Let's fire up our $20 Facebook train. This set strikes me as the perfect Christmas tree train. I totally am going to have this running in a few months underneath my tree. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys have the time and the interest, head to Facebook Marketplace and just give it a try, right? Buy a cheap set, see if you can fix it. It's fun, right? And it helps the hobby keep growing and stay alive, most importantly. If you like the video, comment down below. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.